Hello, dear listeners. Today, we are diving into the extraordinary story of Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon and one of the most influential people of our time. But before we begin, let me tell you that this story is not just about Jeff Bezos. It is also an excellent way to practice English listening and learn new vocabulary words. Stay with me, and by the end of this series, you'll not only know his story, but also improve your English. Jeff Bezos was not born in a luxury or power. He was born in a small town in New Mexico where dreams were bigger than opportunities. From a young age, Jeff was curious about how things worked. He would take apart his toys and even his crib just to see what was inside. His mother often found him surrounded by screws and wires, smiling with pride. That curiosity was the spark that would one day build a global empire. When Jeff grew older, his love for science and invention only grew stronger. He studied hard and graduated from Princeton University, one of the most prestigious universities in the world. He had a stable job on Wall Street with a good salary and a comfortable future. But deep inside, he knew that comfort was not his destiny. One day, while browsing the internet, he found an interesting fact. The internet was growing at an astonishing rate. That single piece of information struck him like lightning. He realized that the world was about to change forever, and he wanted to be a part of that change. So Jeff did something that most people would never dare to do. He left his high-paying job. He packed his car and drove across the country to start something new. During that road trip, the idea of Amazon was born, an online bookstore that would one day sell everything imaginable. In the early days, Amazon was run from his small garage. Jeff and his small team worked day and night packing boxes by hand and driving them to the post office themselves. They faced endless challenges. No one believed people would buy books online. Investors laughed at him. Friends told him to quit and find a real job. But Jeff refused to listen. He believed in his vision even when no one else did. He had a simple philosophy. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, your life will be easy. So he kept pushing through long nights and endless rejections. Every time an order came and they would ring a small bell in the office. At first it rang once every few hours, then every few minutes. Soon the bell was ringing nonstop. Amazon was growing. The small dream from a garage was starting to change the world. Jeff was not driven by money or fame. He was driven by the desire to build something that would serve people. He believed that success comes from focusing on the customer, not the competitor, and that every failure carries a hidden lesson. But success did not come without struggles. There were times when Amazon was close to bankruptcy. Investors began to doubt the future of the company. The stock price crashed. The media called Amazon a disaster. But Jeff stood tall and calm in the middle of the storm. He gathered his team and told them, "We are not here to build a company for a year or two. We are here to build something that will last for generations." That mindset changed everything. The team became stronger, more focused, and more united. They improved delivery systems, expanded product categories, and started to innovate like never before. Jeff believed in long-term thinking. He was never interested in short-term profits. He once said, "If you cannot tolerate criticism, then do not do anything new or interesting." And he lived by that rule every single day. While the world mocked him, he continued building quietly. He knew that every great dream takes time and sacrifice. And soon the same world that laughed began to take notice. Amazon was no longer a small bookstore. It became a marketplace that changed how the entire world shops. But Jeff's journey was not only about business. It was about mindset, about resilience, about never giving up when things get hard. He believed that a person's potential is like a muscle. The more challenges you face, the stronger you become. Even after becoming one of the richest people in the world, Jeff kept his curiosity alive. He started new ventures like Blue Origin to make space travel possible for everyone. He said that we must look to the stars because humanity's destiny lies beyond Earth. Every chapter of Jeff's life teaches a powerful lesson, that dreams are built through courage, that innovation begins with curiosity, And that greatness comes from doing ordinary things with extraordinary persistence. He often said that one day you will wake up and realize that your time is limited. And the only way to make it count is to follow your passion with everything you have. As years passed, Amazon became one of the most valuable companies in history. But Jeff still looked at challenges like a beginner. He still believed in experimenting, learning, and growing. Because in his heart, he was still that curious boy from New Mexico, the one who took apart his toys to understand how things worked. And that same curiosity would continue to guide him toward new frontiers. Years passed, and Amazon kept growing beyond anyone's imagination. People from all over the world were ordering everything from books to furniture to groceries. The sound of delivery vans became the heartbeat of modern life. And behind that sound was one man's relentless drive to serve customers better every single day. Jeff Bezos never wanted Amazon to be ordinary. He wanted it to be extraordinary. He pushed his team to think long-term. He often said, "It's always day one, because the moment you think you've made it, you stop growing." Day one became a culture, a mindset that kept Amazon innovative even when it became massive. Employees knew that their leader expected them to stay curious, to experiment, and to take risks. If an idea failed, Jeff didn't get angry. He celebrated the effort. He believed that every failed idea was a step closer to a great one. One of the biggest changes came when Amazon introduced Prime, a membership that promised fast shipping. At first, many thought it would never work. They said people wouldn't pay extra for faster delivery. But Jeff saw the future. He knew people valued time more than money. Prime became a revolution, and soon millions joined. It changed the way people shop forever. But behind the scenes, Jeff's life was still full of challenges. Running a company of that size meant sleepless nights and endless decisions. There were moments when Amazon faced huge criticism, when competitors tried to crush it, when the media doubted him. Yet Jeff stood firm. He reminded himself of a simple truth: if you cannot tolerate critics, you cannot innovate. As Amazon grew stronger, Jeff began to look beyond the horizon. He realized that human progress must not be limited to one planet. He founded Blue Origin to make space travel accessible for future generations. He said, "We need to build a road to space so our children can build the future there." In his private moments, Jeff often reflected on how far he had come. From a boy with broken toys to a man building rockets. He understood that success was not about money or fame. It was about purpose. It was about using your time, your mind, and your heart to do something meaningful. He also believed in learning from others. He read constantly. He studied leaders, thinkers, and dreamers from history, because he knew knowledge was the ultimate fuel for growth. One day, during an interview, he was asked, "What is the secret behind your success?" Jeff smiled and said, "There is no secret, just one simple thing. Be obsessed with your customers, not your competitors." That single sentence captured the soul of Amazon. While others competed for profit, Jeff competed for trust. Even today, when we order something with one click, we rarely think about the vision and persistence behind it. But every package that arrives at a doorstep is a symbol of what is possible when one person dares to dream differently. Jeff's story reminds us that no goal is too big, no dream is too far, and no beginning is too small, because everything great starts with a single step and the courage to take it. But Jeff's journey didn't stop there. With Amazon thriving and Blue Origin rising, he began to focus on the next chapter of his life, a chapter that was no longer just about building companies, but about building a legacy that could inspire others to think bigger, to push harder, to dream wilder. And as he looked up at the night sky filled with stars, he knew deep inside that his journey was still far from over. The early years of Amazon were far from easy. Behind every success headline, there were sleepless nights, constant doubts, and moments of near failure. When Jeff first launched Amazon from his small garage in Seattle, he had only a few desks made from wooden doors. He called them door desks to remind everyone to stay frugal and humble. The team worked long hours, often late into the night, packing boxes, labeling them, and driving to the post office themselves. There was no fancy office, no big investors, just determination and belief. In those days, Jeff used to deliver packages in his old Chevy Blazer. Sometimes the orders were so few that every sale felt like a small miracle. He once said that when the first book order came in from someone outside of his family, he knew Amazon had a real chance. But not everyone believed in his dream. Investors laughed at the idea of people buying books online. They called it a crazy idea, a passing trend. Jeff had to face rejection after rejection from people who couldn't see what he saw. Many advised him to quit and go back to Wall Street. But Jeff's conviction was unshakable. He told his wife that he didn't want to live with the regret of not trying. Then came 1999, the year the dot-com bubble was growing. Amazon's stock price soared to incredible heights. Everyone called it the future. But when the bubble burst, everything changed overnight. Amazon's value dropped by more than 90%. Critics said the company would not survive. Articles called it Amazon.bomb. Even his employees began to worry that they might lose everything they had built. Jeff gathered his team in a small meeting room. He looked at them calmly and said, "We are still the same company we were yesterday. The internet will change the world, and we are part of that change. This is not the end. It's just the beginning." He refused to panic. Instead of cutting corners, he doubled down on customer service innovation and long-term thinking. While other companies closed down, Amazon survived and grew stronger. Still, the struggles continued. For many years, Amazon didn't make any profit. Shareholders were frustrated. Competitors mocked them. But Jeff kept saying, "Your margin is my opportunity." He was willing to sacrifice short-term gain for long-term trust. There were nights when he slept on the office couch, days when he faced losses so big that most people would have given up. But Jeff stayed focused. He was obsessed with improving the customer experience. He kept repeating, "Start with the customer and work backward." Then came a breakthrough. Amazon Web Services, a cloud computing platform that started as a small side project. No one thought it would work. But Jeff believed that if you solve real problems for people, the business will grow naturally. AWS became one of the most profitable parts of Amazon and changed the technology world forever. Even then, challenges never stopped. When Amazon entered the world of retail, giants many tried to block it. Bookstores refused to cooperate. Publishers called Jeff ruthless. Employees called him demanding. But deep down they knew he was a visionary who wanted excellence, not comfort. Jeff's leadership style was intense. He would ask difficult questions. He pushed his teams to think 10 steps ahead. Sometimes they feared his high expectations. But later many admitted that it made them better, stronger, and smarter. As Amazon grew into a trillion-dollar company, Jeff faced personal and professional storms. From public criticism about working conditions to media pressure about his wealth and private life. But he learned to stay focused on what mattered most. He once said, "You have to be willing to be misunderstood if you're going to innovate." Despite the noise and the doubts, Jeff never stopped dreaming. He turned his eyes once again toward the stars. Through Blue Origin, he wanted to make space travel possible for ordinary people. He said, "I want millions of people living and working in space because Earth is the best planet and we must protect it." His story reminds us that success is not a straight road. It's filled with storms, losses, and lonely nights. But those who stay true to their purpose never lose their direction. Jeff Bezos was never the smartest man in the room, but he was always the most curious. He believed in learning every day, experimenting every day. And that is why Amazon became not just a company, but a symbol of what human perseverance can achieve. As years passed, Jeff began stepping back from daily operations, not because he was tired, but because he wanted to focus on the next big leap. He wanted to inspire a new generation of builders, dreamers, and innovators. Those who could take the spark of an idea and turn it into something that could change the world. And as he watched rockets lift off the ground, he smiled quietly, because deep inside he knew the same boy who once took apart his toys to see how they worked was now helping humanity reach the stars. But Jeff's story was still not over, because the journey of curiosity never truly ends. Even after stepping down as the CEO of Amazon, Jeff Bezos continued to live by the same principles that built his empire: curiosity, courage, and long-term vision. He believed that every ending is just the beginning of something greater. So instead of slowing down, he started asking new questions. What comes after Amazon? What comes after Earth? What legacy can I leave that will outlive me? Through Blue Origin, Jeff began investing billions of dollars into making space travel cheaper, safer, and more accessible. He wanted to build a future where people could live and work in space while preserving Earth for generations to come. He often said, "We need to move heavy industries off Earth so our planet can remain beautiful and full of life." It wasn't just a dream of rockets, it was a vision of responsibility. While critics called him crazy, Jeff smiled because he had heard that word before. People had once called him crazy for selling books online too. He knew that every great idea sounds impossible until it becomes real. He surrounded himself with scientists, engineers, and dreamers who shared his passion for the stars. Together, they tested rocket after rocket. Many of them failed. Some exploded. Others fell short of their targets. But every failure was a lesson. Jeff told his team, "We learn more from one failed launch than from 10 successful meetings." Years later, Blue Origin successfully launched its reusable rocket. It landed safely back on Earth. And that single moment proved that persistence can defy gravity itself. For Jeff, it was not just a technological success. It was a symbol of human potential. But even with rockets flying and Amazon reaching new heights, Jeff's challenges were far from over. He faced criticism about wealth inequality, about labor practices, about his personal life. Every headline seemed to test his patience and focus. Yet he stayed grounded, repeating his old principle: focus on what you can control and ignore what you can't. He started the Bezos Earth Fund, pledging billions to fight climate change and protect the environment. Because deep inside, he knew that all the success in the world means nothing if the planet suffers. He began mentoring young entrepreneurs, reminding them that the path to success is not a straight road. He told them, "You must be willing to take risks, to look foolish, to fail publicly and still keep going." Because comfort never created greatness. Jeff's story was not just about building companies. It was about building character. He had lived through failures that could destroy others. He had faced doubts that could crush dreams. But he learned that if your purpose is strong enough, no obstacle can stop you. His journey teaches one powerful truth: you do not have to be extraordinary to achieve extraordinary things. You just have to be consistent, curious, and courageous. He still wakes up every morning with the same childlike excitement to explore, to learn, to build. He reads, he thinks, he dreams. He often reminds people, the secret of success is not speed, it is endurance. And as the world changes faster than ever, Jeff Bezos continues to remind humanity that the greatest resource we have is our imagination. Because imagination creates ideas. Ideas create innovation. And innovation creates the future. The story of Jeff Bezos is not about wealth or fame. It is about the power of vision, about believing in your dream even when the world laughs at you, about failing 1,000 times and still saying, "I'm not done yet." The same boy who once built his first small lab in his grandfather's garage, who once worked late nights packing books in a rented warehouse, who once faced rejection after rejection with a smile. That same boy is still dreaming, still building, still looking at the stars, wondering, what comes next?